Guys, Ash here, Race Legends. Welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. And odds are, maybe a few of you guys, at least when it comes to raid, you need them. Honestly, today I thought it'd be fun in this little video. It's a second channel. We can do whatever the hell we want over here. I thought we would go ahead and just go through and kind of read some of the comments, the viewer sentiment from the video outlining Plarium's response to a lot of the pain points that we articulated in the It's Bad video from about a week ago. Now, you know, thousands and thousands of you guys commented on this video, the initial video, sharing your feedback. What are your pain points in the game? What are your issues in the game? A lot of constructive criticism, some great ideas there as well. So I wanted to thank anybody who took the time to do that. Well, in yesterday's video on my main channel, the official Plarium Response, what did they have to say? Now, man, I was a little naive to this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's bothering me having two Ashes here. So let me go ahead and get the comments up because I want to read through them here. But yeah, they had okay, when I recorded this video, right, I knew the response was going to be poor. I know that a lot of people were going to be super upset and let down by a lot of the news. And like, uncharacteristically for Plarium, this is a backhanded compliment if there ever was one, but they just flat out said no to stuff. You know, a few things, like energy cap and farming scrolls for skill tomes and stuff like that, which like is, I like, how am I giving them credit? Because like in the past, for years and years after these calls, they would say, you know, like, maybe not right now, but we haven't discounted it in the future. It's not on our plan. But like this time they actually just gave concrete answers, which was better than just maybes, you know? Also, I shared some news about the upcoming update in a few months here, or December, so 5 months away. And I actually, call me a sucker. I mean, here I am covering Raid Shadow Legends on YouTube, so yeah, probably a sucker. Call me a sucker, but I was actually excited about that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, 7 new bosses and world exploration mode and stuff like that. Like, I'm curious on that, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. We're gonna get a new faction as well in the early part of next year as well. So anyway, and then long term, they want to do like a real-time clan versus clan game mode and a world boss. So like, anyway, no one commented on that stuff. You know, no one cared. They only cared about the bad news, which was mostly, to be fair, the rest of the video. But I wasn't expecting it to be like as bad as it was, just to be totally real with you guys. But I knew it wasn't going to be glowing. Let's be real here, because there was a lot of bad news, and there's a lot of. I just recorded a video from my main channel going live tomorrow. That I was going to record a video on this channel today talking about where are the champion guides. This started as a champion guide only channel, and now it's like lazy news videos. But there's actually a big reason for that, which I address in the video on my main channel tomorrow. And then I'll record that video here in case you don't want to watch 2 videos. I totally understand. I wouldn't either. All right, anyway, to the comments here. The number one comment, top comment. Plarium, we hear your concerns about the game. Plarium, we hear you. Here's a leaderboard. Leaderboards. I actually asked about leaderboards. It was like one of my last questions. It was a 3-hour call. We talked about a lot, right? And like the answer I got was like, I'm being like probably unfair characterization, but the answer I got was like, Ash, they're leaderboards. What do you want from us? Like, who really cares? Like, again, they didn't say who really cares, but that's kind of like, they're leaderboards, you know, like, chill, you know? Anyway, okay, so well, like my thing on the leaderboards though is like, dude, even if you're gonna add leaderboards, like, I don't know, like, let us see some info, you know? Like, how about the teams? How about, like, what does this mean? You know, like, who really cares? If I want to see the top dungeon players, I want to see what champions they're using in the builds. I don't want to see their points. You know, like, who really even cares about this, honestly, you know? Apparently not even Plarium, because that was a little bit of the impression I got. All right. Plarium will never add a feature or content they don't make money from. I don't agree with that. I think that, like, I get the sentiment, obviously. They add things like, you know, Hydra quick battles. A lot of their quality of life things are, like, not monetarily based. I guess you could argue they save time so you can spend money on other things, though, you know? I will say that Plarium will never change anything that might cost them money, you know? That's, to me, what's really behind Minnow. You know, this whole Minnow thing. They don't want people to not use gems to get masteries, you know? And that to me is, I am the first example of that, because building so many champions, especially for all these guides on this channel, almost crappy champions too, I use gems almost all the time. And if they made it really easy to farm masteries and efficient, I'd probably start using energy instead, and Plarium would lose money. So I don't know. That's what I think I mean, that's pretty much the obvious reason. I think that pretty much pertains to everything in the game. Gotta love how Plarium just trashes all the ideas and criticism. Why even have these talks? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they didn't trash. I mean, they weren't like dicks on the call or anything like that, you know? Like, they play the game, they care about the game, they have strong opinions about the game. It's clear. I mean, they made it. But there is, I don't want to say hubris, that would be too strong of a word, but there's like, certainly I get the sense that like, they might feel like, you know, players say they want this, but do they really, you know, do they really want it? Would they really be happy with it on a lot of the things that I know? Like, yes, they would be happy with it, you know, like free gear removal, for example, you know, like players, they would actually be happy with it, you know. It's not, because they said they did some testing, and like, I think this is a part of the call. I missed the first like 20 minutes of the call. But what I hear is they said they did play testing on free gear removal for new players. They gave them like, you know, 7 million silver, and some of them free gear removals. And the players that didn't have free gear removals, they had better retention. But it's like, yeah, they're new players. You know, what do you need free gear removal, you know, when it costs next to nothing to remove them on 1-star gear or whatever, you know? Anyway, I'm pretty sure them confirming energy cap and mercy stays the same will make quite a few people quit, given the hopes that they get their act together. Progressive chance is garbage, given how inundated the pool is. Yeah, so their answer on the idea of having like better chances on these progressive chance events was that, and just the whole problem right now of getting a champion in this game, right? Their answer to the commenter's point, I'll link this video in case you guys want to check this out first. I'll stop reiterating every single answer they gave. But like, they're like, hey, with 15x and 20x and 25x, the odds of getting a new champion are now the same as they were in like 2021 when we released a new champion, you know? So basically things aren't that bad, you know, was kind of the response there. I hope players aren't quitting. I know a lot are, but like super selfish mode, like, I don't want my viewers to all leave. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but I get it. Some time ago, the Korean Epic 7 community faced similar problems with the game. So, through Reddit and Discord, they agreed to give the lowest possible rating on the App Store, at least until the overall rating dropped so low that the game became unavailable for download. And guess what? It worked. I remember it clearly because I was an Epic 7 player at the time. Developers responded immediately with a huge patch. I wonder, I don't know. I mean, that to me is like DEFCON 1 in the gaming world. I've never been, I know people will hate me for this, but I've never been like a big, like a lot of, every time I make a negative video or a rant video, I get dozens and dozens and dozens of comments, sometimes more than that, just depending on how many comments and how many views the video got, about like, dude, I watch you for your positivity. I watch you because I play Raid Shadow Legends, and like, stop with the negativity, man, you know? And to me, it's like, I'm not going to stop with the negativity because I'm passionate about the game. What I want to tell them, but I don't respond, is like, nah, dude, I love the game. That's why I care about the game. You know, I like the game. I like the community, and I want the best for it. And I read the other comments, and I want to amplify and echo some of these concerns and elevate to the best of my ability, you know? But at the same time, it's not lost on me as a creator for any game that the reason people watch me, ultimately, the main reason, is because they play the game. And to watch someone who just constantly only trashes on the game and picks apart the negative, it can kind of wear on your overall audience, you know? So it's always about kind of reconciling those two factions, so to speak, of viewers as a creator, and it can be challenging, you know? But I don't know. Do you guys think that Plarium would do anything if there was mass negative reviews on the game? Don't you feel like reviews on games nowadays, I'm not saying this on Plarium necessarily, on Raid necessarily, don't you think reviews on games, a lot of them are absolute bots, you know? Or do you think developers can just buy bots to spam positive reviews? I don't know. As an ex-game designer, the fact that they surprised that nobody has a max relic is not a good sign, since it is relatively easy to calculate. Yeah, I mean, on the call, not nobody in the game, but like on the call, they were pretty surprised by the fact that nobody had a max relic and that nobody really, I can speak for myself. They're like, hey, when we invented relics, when we added relics to the game, they're like, we wanted people to crunch them like they do champions, you know? Like, get rid of all the trashy ones. There's plenty of trashy ones. Why aren't people using them as food? You know? That was kind of their sentiment. And like, I can just say for myself, I was just doing Faction Wars hard mode. I was using like Mighty Ukko or whatever, you know? Like, it doesn't matter. Let's just pretend I was using Constantine the Dayborn, right? It's like, I actually want to put a relic on him because maybe I like relics are super powerful, right, in this game. So like even my crappy ones, I'll often use on like some of my off-meta champions that I need for a certain task, and I don't want to just crunch them and burn them, you know? And I think it speaks to the scarcity of relics to begin with and the upgrade material and all that other stuff. Let's be real. I told them this on the call, by the way. Sorry, half of these aren't hard in my bad. I scanned through them a while ago, but it's been a while. I told them this on the call, but like when you get a relic to level 12 right now, at least me, I feel like that should be max, right? Like meaning the amount of resources and time and scarcity that goes into getting a relic to 12 to me feels like that should be it, you know? The fact that it's been almost a year of relics and me as a big spender, I don't have one maxed. I could, by the way, I could have a maxed relic, but I'd have to sacrifice like legendary relics or a lot of good epics that I don't want to, you know? I could probably have 1 or 2 maxed if I crunched everything up, you know? But even that, after almost a year, is pretty crazy. Community, things ain't right. Raid management, can we monetize it? Raid devs, no. Raid management, fuck them. Okay. New faction will make a lot of sense. Let me guess. New faction will make a lot of sense. Let me guess. Greed goblins. Okay. So they said that the new faction they're adding next year, it's not going to be like robots or something like that. I'm not sure if that wasn't my idea, but they mentioned that. But they said that it will make a lot of sense after kind of the update that's coming in December, what the new faction is. So maybe the update will hold clues as to what it is. Been playing Raid for 4 years. I'm a casual spender and endgame player. After the last siege I was involved in, I called it quits. One whale held off an entire clan from keeping their keep. We weren't a newbie clan either. Between that and the amount of time I spend on the game, I got burnt out. Now I've been playing a month, and I haven't been playing a month, and it's been nice. Well, thanks for watching my video. These comments really bum me out, man. They really do. I mean, I absolutely understand, but it sucks to see people leaving the game, you know? There are fewer years left in the game than there are behind it. Yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see. I have a crazy solution. Everyone stop playing at the exact same time. Send Plarium a message. Either you start listening or you go bankrupt. Stop existing as a company. It just never works, you know? I mean, no one ever does it. Not enough people. I mean, they have, what, 4 million daily active users? That's the last stat that I heard. I mean, even on my best videos, you know, like the 50,000 views, you know? So like, I feel like this is true. Like, this is something you always have to keep in mind as a content creator or as somebody who consumes content or as you guys. I mean, you're sitting here watching a Raid Shadow Legends video of some dude commenting on comments on a Raid Shadow Legends video. So we're in the minority, you know what I'm saying? Your average viewer your average player doesn't watch YouTube at all, you know? Maybe a what's next in Raid that gets to pop up in game. So there is always that dynamic of like, okay, you know, these are the most hardcore users who are upset and it matters, you know? But at the same time, it's hard to really tip the scale. But maybe it's a cop-out. I don't know. I'm not going to stop playing. Damn it. I'm going to keep making content. And the truth is like, and I almost feel guilty admitting it, but I really enjoy the game. Probably because I spent a lot of money in the game, you know? That being said, far from perfect. And it kills me that Plarium, you know, God, I mean, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. That's the thing, right? There's a lot of low-hanging fruit in this game that they could just throw a bone to the community and just like get people like satisfied a little bit more, you know? It doesn't have to be anything absolutely insane. A little goes a long way. I almost feel like they need a PR team, on the Plarium staff to come in here and just be like, okay, guys, here's something you can do and here's how to talk about it, I would love to see something like, I would love to see more transparency, because it's weird to have, to have a three. It's awesome, by the way. I liked, even though I wasn't satisfied with a lot of the results in the conversation, it is nice of them to have the conversation, take 3 hours out of their day and talk to us, right? But what I would love to see is what a lot of other games do, and that's to have like a monthly or a weekly or a bi-weekly or bi-monthly kind of town square where the developer has a little live stream or a Discord stage or something like that, right? Where, you can hear it from them. Because I'm sure if Plarium watched my videos covering the conversation, they probably hate it too. They're probably like, dude, why is he saying that? I didn't say exactly that. I said this. Or, oh, he's mischaracterizing that. He's being too negative about this. Oh, he forgot to mention this. I'm sure, like, that's probably what I would be doing. I certainly don't do that intentionally. Why would I, right? I have no motivation in getting you guys to quit Raid, right? But I'm sure that they do a better job than I can at re-articulating their points, So I think it's so important. I think it's so important for somebody from Plarium, I don't know who, I don't care who, but somebody just talk to the community. It's so important in a game like this, even if it's bad news, but I fear that no one wants to be the face of Raid Shadow, of Plarium, persona non grata. I fear that's the issue, I asked him for a developer interview here on the channel, on my main channel, maybe a month or two ago, and they politely declined. And it's a bummer because they used to do it a lot with me, Cirilla used to come on a lot, and like she's still at Plarium and stuff, but I think maybe it is a lot. It is a lot, as someone who's received, I've been doing YouTube for 12 years and I've gotten like my fair share of stuff, and it's a lot to be like the lightning rod, so I understand. It's just a shame. I think it's so needed to have a voice from Plarium to talk to the community. You need the right person, someone who can speak with empathy and understanding, but also someone who has enough power to move the needle and advocate for the community. The community managers and the staff there, the influencer managers, they do a hell of a job, but they just don't have the power to move the needle and make the big changes, I think, in order to actually, they hear you, they see, and they understand because they play. Anyway, they keep talking about why they don't need to make changes that the community pretty much unanimously agrees on, like the energy cap, minnow, silver economy. But when they're worried about player retention, excuse me. Most people that spend big money have an investment in the game. If you don't retain players, I'm sorry, guys. I'm butchering this damn thing. Most people that spend big money have an investment in the game. If you don't retain the players you'll go under trying to live off of the new players, and it's weird that they don't see that. True. They don't always want to make the game better. Understood. That makes me think. Thanks for the video. So they don't want to make the game better. Sometimes the devs don't even play their own game. It seems like the devs don't even play their own game. Their math is wrong. The odds of getting a Lego are even worse with every champ they added to the game. The odds of getting, this is speaking to that whole, like 3 years ago, the odds with the progressive chance that I mentioned earlier. The odds of getting a Lego are getting worse with every champ they add to the game. The odds of getting one that you want, even with a 15x boost, if you do get the one, isn't helping, because most players may get one legendary a month with the amount of shards you get during normal play. Level 100s may get one or two more than lower levels, but we're still talking worse odds of getting a legendary, much less the one that you want or need. I think it's a good point. I think what he's trying to make here is, the point he's trying to make is the odds of actually getting a legendary are still insanely low in the game. And even with the progressive chance, you have to both get the legendary, and then there's another dice roll that is the legendary you want. And even if it's like, what, a 3 or 4%? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Bring back old fusion in the shop that we can work for. Turn them into fragments. I know, right? Like, these are like, there's so many ideas. I feel like I've shared a million ideas. I feel like I've shared a million ideas from you guys, the community as well, about like so many cool things they could do in this game, right? To help alleviate some of the pain points and also be a boon and a positive for Plarium, right? They could go in there and they could rework the token trader instead of just having random champions. I mean, this is the biggest, to me, this is like one of the biggest and easiest ideas in the game. And that is going to the old token trader, right? And revamping the whole damn thing, right? No longer is it, you know, you can still purchase it, but you purchase fragments instead of full champions, right? Purchase fragments. You still need this token, the, what is it called? The life tokens? Life tokens. You still need life token. Let's sacrifice a legendary together. Come on. It'll be fun. Krila Witch Arm. Unbind. 500. Done. Okay, so we unbound a champion. What do we get? We get 500 life tokens, right? But what they need to do is give you life tokens for unbinding epics and unbinding rares. Unbinding a rare might only get you 1 life token. In fact, I think it should only get you 1 life token. Maybe epics are 10 or something like that, you know? There definitely needs to be a high cost or a much lower cost for the ones that are so much more plentiful in the game. But then we'll have a robust token trader here. And it doesn't give you champions, it gives you fragments, right? And they can have, you know, 10 fragments for sale at all times, right? Maybe they stay for, what is it, a 3-month period right now? Maybe they stay for a 3-month period, and it gives players the option to actually get their hands on champions that are next to impossible to get their hands on. They could bring back previous fusions. They could bring back previous freebie champions. They could put a champion on discount every month. Like, it just remedies so many pain points, and it just makes so much sense. But they won't do it, you know? A month or 2 ago, I decided to take a break. I spent a fair amount of time, money in the game, nowhere near Kraken level, but a good chunk nonetheless. I came back to the game to help my clan with the latest siege. Decided to keep playing, but I refuse to spend money until Raid makes changes that actually matter. See, this is a comment I like because he's still playing the game. But I think that's yeah, it makes sense. Understood. Anyone playing Raid needs positive vibes every time we log in. Yeah, ain't that the truth, right? I quit this POS time sync about a week ago after a 3-year grind, and I couldn't be happier. Plarium is such a crappy company. Well, I guess I already swore earlier. Shitty company. It's like they're actively trying to make their game more and more tedious to play. I still watch your content from time to time, Ash. Made it more fun. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So basically, for most of the most important stuff, at least in the eyes of the players, we're heard, but we'll ignore you. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like, yes, right? Faction Wars hard is insanely hard. This is the last comment of the video here. Faction Wars is insanely hard. In the Organ faction, I leveled up 2 legendaries, Gerda and Stock. I added them to a team with Ugo, Jurgrim, and Bellower, and still couldn't get past the first stage. WTF! My account is relatively endgame. I've cleared about almost all the content, except for the new challenges like Chimera and Hards and Tranos. With such a developed roster, not being able to pass stage 1 in a faction just seems brutal. The difficulty is absurd, and I've already maxed out defense, ignores speed, and accuracy stats from faction. It is worth noting here that, like, everybody should go in and max out your faction wars, because it's only grade 1, so it's a lot cheaper than, you know, grade 3 areas. So max out faction wars. It does count for faction wars hard mode. Okay, the real problem with Raid is the lack of polish. One of the biggest gotchas in the market, yet so many things feel outdated, clunky, or straight up lazy. Here's some of the issues I have with the game. The RNG is out of control. Champions plus souls plus artifacts plus blessing. You need the perfect combo of all of this just to attempt the end game. Since the Altar of Souls was introduced, I've never pulled a single 5-star stole for any of my main champs. I only summon during 2x events. That's insane. That, by the way, I agree 1000%. And this is what my video tomorrow on my main channel is about. The amount of trash champions is ridiculous. Raid keeps flooding the game with garbage tier champions, so when you finally pull a legendary, there's a good chance it's worthless. In a game where even legendaries are being outdated, they should at least be more generous with fragments and legendary drops. Completely agree. More and more hidden mechanics, especially in PvP. How many times until the monk, how many turns until the monkey revives? Or when does Thor's passive trigger? Or Odin's, or the Queen of Hearts? You either count manually or just guess. There's zero visual feedback. This is one where I respectfully disagree. As someone who plays a lot of endgame, a live arena, and arena, I actually think this part of the, like you're playing blackjack and you want to count cards, you're going to have to do it yourself, right? And it's part of the strategy, only in the examples that he mentions here. I do think we should show relics on the info screen. Because that, to me, so like maybe I agree in spirit, but not in the examples that he said. Just my opinion, though. Still no mercy counter. Seriously? I mean, we didn't talk about the mercy counter in the video, in the call, excuse me. But yeah, I've given up hope on that one as well. It'd be nice to have, though. Damn it, right? But they don't want players to know how close they are to the mercy, right? Artificial difficulty is growing fast. With so many mechanics in the game, creating real endgame content is hard. But Raid is doing it in the worst way. Padded artificial difficulty. They did say, in somewhat of good news, maybe, that they're going to, I think I already mentioned this, probably nerf the event dungeon. That wasn't confirmed 100%. Kind of like a wink, wink, nod, nod type thing. So we'll see. They also said that they're going to take, I think they kind of admitted they went too far on the difficulty, and they're going to make sure the next update, they'll take that into consideration on the big December update. We'll see it. We'll see what happens, right? As with everything in Plarium, I'll believe it when I see it. Chimera alone was a wall of text. I still haven't bothered to study her 40 pages of abilities. I farmed the first event dungeon at level 30, second one up to level 5, and the one I am stuck at level 20. WTF. At this rate, I won't be able to reach level 15 in the next one. Event dungeon, for me, is the biggest issue with difficulty. I mentioned this in the video, but I'll mention it again. But the event dungeon, man, this is not endgame content that has to last us a long time like Faction Wars. Faction Wars being hard, you might not agree with it. You might say it's way overtuned. I would tend to agree. But at the same time, this is what needs to last players until the December update in terms of anything new at all to do in the game. So I understand that. But the event dungeon, like, there's no need for it to be this hard. Come on. Come on. You know? Like, it's ridiculous. Event dungeon is temporary in the game, you know? So let's see that nerf. They should have done it pretty much immediately. They should have play tested it better, frankly, I think. Fire Knight Hard 10 is still a pain. Centrano's Hard, unplayable for me. How do you guys feel about that one? Centrano's Hard, I think it's okay, personally. I shouldn't. You know what? Soul Cross and Centrano's Hard is just tedium, because anybody can beat Soul Cross and Centrano's Hard, at least the champion stages. But it would just take you absolute like hours and hours of RNG with 5 stun sets. You know, anybody with AOE's champions with stun sets. I guess any endgame player, right? But it's just like I don't even do it anymore. Like, let me see where I stopped this rotation. I go through and I put in, like, you know, I'll put in time. So, like, I'll put in a little bit of time, you know, like some of these stages, I'll put in a little bit of time, maybe like a half an hour or whatever, just depending. But, man, on stages like this, like, I'm not going to sit here against the Taurus and Marichka waves and just sit here for, what, an hour or something, you know, to try to finish off these waves. Not for me. Not for me. So I hear you there. It's just tedious, you know. Books are still a nightmare. Never a big problem for me since I've been a low spender. I usually have fewer champs than books to upgrade, managing around 3 Legos per month at best. But now Faction Wars is getting me hyped. I invested in many champions and burned over 30 books and made almost no progress. Still, the game offers no reliable way to farm books. And that was, they basically came out and said in that video, another piece of bad news to end the video here, is that they're not going to be adding a book farming thing in the game, you know? So they look at basically the advanced quests and stuff like that as a way to get your hands on, you know, in Clan Boss. But again, that's like, Clan Boss is RNG. It's great, but like, I don't know. I just don't understand why they can't add the equivalency of a minnow dungeon, but for pages of books, and you just you farm pages. You know, it might take you a long time to get a book, especially like a mythical skill tome or legendary skill tome, but at least there's a mechanism there. And hey, ultimately, you're still burning a currency that Plarium can make money from, and that's energy, right? People have to buy more energy or whatever. Minnow is the pain in the ass, number 7. All right, guys, we'll end it there. I wanted to read through some of the comments, give a little bit more context from my point of view. I'm sorry, it bums me out that people are so bummed out about the game, and like I said, I freaking totally get it. Anyway, stay tuned for more content on not just on this topic, but especially, again, I think that this very first one, the RNG out of control, this is what I can't wait to discuss in tomorrow's video. Until then, thanks for watching till the end of this one. And as always, take care, guys.